All right, lady fan, heckler question. Hey there, Bill. I'm a lady fan, and I would like your opinion on a situation Amy Schumer encountered on her tour in Stockholm. Early on in her set, a male heckler shouted, "Show us your tits." Oh, that's hilarious. She heard it, had the audience point to the guy, and shut him down pretty quickly with a few jokes. All right, good for her. She also said if he yelled out again, she'd have him kicked out. Well, literally 5 seconds later, he yelled out again. Yeah, this guy's a class clown, you know. Next person who does that gets detention. And she did have him thrown out of the show. Well, it's her show. She can do what she wants. My question is, at what point would you have a heckler thrown out? Or when have you had a heckler thrown out? This is a great question. I have no problem with her controlling the vibe at her own show, especially when there were a ton of other audience members for whom the show might have been ruined if the guy kept shouting. Yeah, they came there to hear her act. You know what I mean? He got one "show me your tits." She fucking rode with that and said, hey, you know, it's not like it doesn't sound like, you know, unless she was talking about her tits, which it doesn't sound like she was. It doesn't sound like it had any context to what she was talking about. If someone just yells that out, then if someone's just going to just keep yelling, "Fuck you," blah, 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 or something like that, then, you know, as a comic, you can just stand there and just trash the guy for the whole hour and still get paid. But, like, the rest of the crowd is not going to walk away happy. That has been my experience when you do something like that. So anyways, she continues. She says, I have no problem with her controlling the vibe at her own show, especially when there were a ton of other audience members for whom the show might have been ruined if this guy kept shouting. However, I've also seen you handle hecklers in your specials and shows without having them ejected. This case might be different since his heckle was sexual in nature. And as far as I know, no heckler has ever shouted, "Show us your dick," to you on stage. Oh my God, that would fucking kill me if somebody yelled that. Anywho, just curious as what you thought about it. The video of the situation at this link if you want to see it. Can't wait for season 2 of F is for Family, and best of luck with your upcoming special. Thank you very much. Once you're, I don't know, I think once you're at a level where you're selling tickets and it's your crowd and everything, I think you just run your show how you want to have your show run. I know that there's comics out there that say no heckling. There's other people that don't give a shit about heckling. I'm one of those people. I don't mind 90% of heckling. You know, it's that 10% where you just didn't want to be there, or you're just completely fucking like wasted, drunk. And you're just there. You're gonna, even if I get the better of you, you're still just not gonna shut up, and you're just there to ruin everyone's good time. At that point, I would say, like, listen, and I would, you know, give the person the money back. It's like, I'm not trying to be a dick, you know, maybe next time, or go see another comic. But I've only had to do that a handful of times. When I first did the Opie and Anthony show, there was this guy I remember came down. And he just didn't get it. Like, he came down on the first show and was just screaming and yelling the whole fuck. It was crazy. And then he showed up like 2 nights later again. And he sat right down front, and one of the waitresses overheard him. I'm going to yell out the punchlines to all of his jokes. So what I should have done was immediately say, get that guy out of here. Get him out of here. Give him his money back. I'll take a picture with him. Just get him out of here, because I don't want to deal with this guy. This guy's wasted, and it's going to ruin the show for everybody. I mean, he was here 2 nights ago. I can't come up with 60 new minutes in fucking 2 nights. And he was deliberately going there to mess up the fucking show. But the weird thing was he didn't go there in a malicious way. He thought it was funny, and it was one of those things that was really in the spirit of the Opie and Anthony show, but this wasn't the Opie and Anthony show. This was a stand-up comedy show. So it was an awkward thing, and I had to get him out of there, or else he was going to fuck it up for everybody, and he was fucking beside himself. I remember, you don't understand, I love you though, you don't understand, right? So they ended up kicking him out, classic way, like, the way a comedy club kicks somebody out is they get them just beyond the threshold of the door and immediately turn a blind eye to the person. Like, well, that takes care of that, right? And they inevitably come back in, which this guy did. And I was selling CDs. This is how long ago it was. I was selling CDs after the show, and I look up, and there's this fucking guy again pleading his case with me. And then he got so mad. He goes, I'm never coming one of your shows again. And I was like, good. The amount of stress and anxiety he brought to me, blah, blah. And then, like, the end of the night, someone had broken the window out front of the club. And I always thought it was him. I have no idea. So my thoughts on heckling is basically it's a part of the art form. And I also think it's a part of the art form that makes it really cool. But that's also, I don't define the rules of it. It's just one of the things that I enjoyed that always scared me in the beginning, that I always thought was so cool about comics, that people would yell at them and they could just handle them and then continue on with their act. And the way I look at it, I say a lot of ignorant shit when I'm on stage and, provoke people and stuff. Like, I can't expect them to sit on their hands the whole time. And I like it. I actually enjoy when people yell shit at me, to a point, but if it's on topic, somebody yells shit out, I always go, what'd you say? I go back and forth, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a part of being a comedian. But I think after a while, and once, you said it was in Stockholm, Sweden. I mean, that's an important show. You're going over there. You're not like the other ones aren't, but you're in another country. You want to make sure you're having a good show. And right out of the gate, if someone comes, they're coming at you like that, they're testing you. And I know a lot of it's going to be made like, it's a sex thing, and, that's not a heckle. It's a this, that. No, it's the basic thing where it's like you're being tested by the crowd. So what the comic has to do is throw the fucking hammer down, or else the crowd takes control of the show and you're going to have a long fucking evening. So there's a million different ways to do it. That's how she chose to do it. It's her fucking show. So there you go. That's what I think. I think however the comedian decides to handle it is the way to handle it. I don't know, but I was just making all the crazy, some of the shit that people have said to me over the years. Best one ever was when I was at Dangerfields. And somebody yelled out, anything red and on stage said faggot. So they used like homophobia for whatever fucking reason. And I'll never forget that heckle because it was so like anything red and on stage. It was like worded like I was in second grade. But this guy was like, I don't like the anger that was coming off of this guy and the group of people that he was in with. I knew if I engaged, and there was no security at that club, and I could not beat up him, much less him and two of his fucking friends. And I just, I liked the mic stand where it was rather than wrapped around my Charlie Brown head. So I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I've had, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, the memories coming back. I've had shit thrown at me. Somebody threw dental floss at me one time. I remember I was talking about working in a dental office when I was younger, and somebody in the middle just threw dental floss like that would add to the bit somehow. I had pissed off a woman in Tampa one time, and she threw a glass of ice at me. Somebody threw a dinner roll at me. Had a lot of shit thrown at me. And then just every fucking thing. I remember being on stage one time at the Boston Comedy Club, and there was these two black women sitting in the front, and there was barely anybody, and it was late night, and I was bombing, and there was this two black women in the front, and one of them had put her head on the other girl's shoulder and was pretending to sleep. And it bothered me for about 6 years that, because I had a glass of water on stage with this straw, it bugged me for 6 years that I didn't think in that moment. When you put your finger over the top of the straw and you keep the water in it to come over and then let it go right on her face. That's what kills you as a comic. It's the thing you should have said or the thing you could have done afterwards. But I really think that to me, that is one of, like, when I used to listen to the Richard Pryor albums and stuff when I was growing up, like, one of the coolest things ever was, listening to him going back and forth, and his unbelievable special that he did down in Long Beach where they had him go on early. He just wanted to get out there and people hadn't gotten back to their seats. Like, I really felt like that interaction there, it was like it just put him in this zone, and he just stayed in there for like an hour and 18 minutes. And I think with that type of shit, and the guy going up with the camera and stuff, like no security, I really feel like that, that interaction with the crowd, that energy that they were giving him, I think that's why that special is what it is. So I'm not against heckling or anything like that, but every comic, like I said, if they feel like it's crossing the line, you just feeling it's at that tipping point, and I got to chop the head off somebody. Sometimes you got to do that. So good for her.